So I think that as educators, sometimes we don't realize where that seed gets planted and then what it grows into. Right? So just like today, here, Cyber Saturday, a young person says, yep, that's what I want to do because they were here. I think that's a powerful experience.
Welcome to CyberChats, a podcast made by the National Cryptologic Foundation. I'm your host, Kennedy Taylor, and together we'll be demystifying the world of cybersecurity by talking with amazing cyber enthusiasts like you, as well as industry professionals. Be sure to like and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Welcome back to CyberChats. Today, I am so excited to introduce you to the man, the myth, the legend. I will say Steve Morrill, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's great to be here. Thanks for the introduction. That's big shoes to fill now.
Well, if you remember, so we are currently here live recording at Cyber Saturday. And last year we interviewed two of your students and they were absolutely incredible. They were seniors. They were telling us about all the incredible things you've done with the Loyola Blakefield cyber program. So I'm excited to now interview the person who started the program, and you're celebrating 13 years?
Yes, we are.
Oh my goodness.
It's been an amazing time. And the students that were here last year have gone off to do awesome things. They're in their first year of college, and the feedback from them has been that they were well prepared. So that's always the great feedback.
Of course they're prepared. Yeah, we have a lot to get to today, but I wanted to start out by hearing about your background, because I think often we talk about the many, accomplishments, of your program, but how did you get here? What did you start out doing? How did you get into cyber?
It's a fun story, and I've had some chances to reflect on that question, especially with our current students getting ready to move off to college. So I was at what is now Stevenson University. It was Village Julie College when I was there. Started off honestly as an accounting major.
Wow. And
then I was good at it, but the tech stuff called to me a little bit more. So started taking some networking classes there, fell in love with it. So I'm a network security person by trade. And the second semester of my sophomore year, I was hired full-time by the university.
Wow.
Which was great. It was a unique, that lesson has been that internships are one of the most critical pieces of the program we have now. So I can talk about mentorship here in a little bit. So went through that, worked full-time, graduated as a IT network security major type person, and stayed on at the university, and then spent the next 13 years at what became Stevenson University.
Wow. And
ran network and data and telecom and taught network security there and did a bunch of cool stuff. And then at that point, after 13 years, higher ed didn't call to me as much as it did. And there was an opportunity that opened up at Blakefield. And to be quite honest, I turned the job down the first time that it came up.
Really?
I did.
That surprises me.
I did. I thought I wanted to stay in the college world. It was one of those career inflection points. And I didn't exactly know, but it just felt right to move from the higher ed world to the secondary world.
Yeah.
So now I work with grades 6 through 12. No disrespect to any of my college students that I taught. 6 through 12 is more fun than higher ed. So I started off at Loyola Blakefield as the director of tech, and then this is school year 19 that I've been there. Things have changed. The world has changed in 19 years. And 13 years ago, we started the cybersecurity program, and I can't take credit for starting it. So we had a student who wanted to start a computer club.
Wow.
Okay, sure. And they needed a faculty advisor, so why not come to the tech
You're the
lab?
guy.
Right.
Yeah.
So the fun part that he did not know when he started, I had a red folder in my desk on all the stuff he had tried on the network. So I knew who he was before he knew who I was. But that's a fun part of the story too, and why we got along so well. So he says, do you mind being our faculty advisor? Sure, no problem. So he had 4 seniors and 1 sophomore. So there was an original band of 6.
Wow.
And we started doing computer stuff, and we found a couple of different cyber competitions, and what was the old Maryland Cyber Challenge we dabbled with, and said, this looks kind of fun. I fully believed that after that first year, when the 5 graduated, that would be it. And they would just say, that was fun. That's not what happened.
No.
Right? So now, 13 years later, a couple of countries later, and 161 kids now, things have drastically changed.
161.
Right? Yeah. So the world's changed, but I give him a lot of credit for having the vision to say, yeah, this is something that we should do as a school. And then I give the students a lot of credit for finding something they're interested in. Right here at Cyber Saturday, we've heard this morning, we're heard in the opening keynote, find your passion, find your passion, find your passion.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. So events like this today, or programs like we have at Blakefield, or any of the other programs at the other colleges, universities, high schools, elementary schools, it's a key part of what we're trying to do. I'm proud to say that we've been part of it. So I'm a nerd by trade. I love what I do. Right, the tech stuff has called to me for a long time. Anything that's new, anything that's fun, and anything that not necessarily controversial, but technologies that people are scared of, I guess is the better way to say that. It's where we spend a lot of time.
A lot of what you said speaks to me. One, you were doing network security, I feel like before cyber was cool. Like this was,
Yeah, it was information assurance back then.
Interesting. Yeah. But you found it fascinating. You grew in it. And then you mentioned 6th to 12th grade as, kind of the age group for your students. And I think there's, such sponges during that time.
Yeah.
I could see that being a huge difference in working with college students because maybe they're more interested or willing to learn, but you're also, shaping their minds while they're so young. That's very cool. Very neat.
Yeah, spot on. And they keep me energized. Right, because they will find things faster than I can learn them, and I think that's the opportunity for them to become subject matter experts on something, whatever that something is, and then they can in turn share that not only the students at Blakefield, but any of the other work that we're doing, they can share it with them, and that's empowering for a young person to say, hey, I am the expert on this, or I created this, and that's been something really interesting to watch. Just the timeline to innovation has shortened so much with the opportunities and tools that are out there that I think that's the next new frontier for them to get into.
Talk to me a little bit about the club itself. How does it function? Do you have a curriculum and you're more so educating them when you meet, or?
Yeah, so, depending who you ask, some days it's dysfunctional, but that's part of the learning process, I think. So we do start in grade 6 and go all the way up through grade 12. There is I'm going to call it a loose curriculum. There are topics that we want to cover, but I don't have a hard and fast plan because things change. If there's an interesting news story, I'll rip that out and we'll teach around that. So it turns into a current event opportunity. So the way the club functions after school, we take anybody. And I make it very clear that no previous experience is required. I don't want the barrier to entry to be up here, right? I don't want it to be scary.
Yeah.
Hey, come in, we're going to try it. We're going to try a couple of brain teasers. We're going to try a couple crypto problems, structured very similar to how it works here today, right? We see the young people around at Cyber Saturday today trying new things, and that's what the first couple of weeks are based on. And let's see what happens. If you come in and tell me, you know what, I don't like this, great. You learn something you don't like, and that's just as powerful.
Yeah, thank you for trying.
Exactly. And if this is something that tickles that part of your brain that's like, I want more, great. We've got 7 years worth of content plus that we can keep you busy. So the way that we've structured things, I'm a big believer in student leadership. So my juniors and seniors are an indispensable part of the program. They do a lot of the training now. And so they've been around, some of them have been around since 7th grade. Most of them have been around for 4 years. So at that point, to me, they've become a full-on employee of the school, unpaid. But
yeah, for now,
right? And when they move off into internships, that's when they can really show what they know. So they're an indispensable part. So we do a lot of operating system training that we start off with. So Windows, Linux. We do a lot of networking, Cisco stuff, Juniper stuff. We do a lot of capture the flag. Ton of fun. Just absolute ton of fun to watch them to work through those challenges. Some of them will write challenges not only for our content, but for other CTFs. So we kind of take all that and package it. The first year experience of a new person with us, we work with the Cyber Patriot program through the Air Force Association. Fantastic program. Gives us something to train for that first year. I don't know about your school experience, but there was a lot of topics that I learned. And I'm like, why am I learning this? When am I ever going to use this? And competitions are a great way for you to learn something, turn around and apply it, and know if you've got it. So I think that's a big piece of it. So
I
Patriot
always
runs
say
for
if
half
you
a
don't
year.
apply it, you usually lose it right away,
Exactly.
right? Especially when things can get very technical. But
And what's the reason, right? Why am I learning this? Why am I learning that? Well, you learned operating system security, and now, yep, you did great in the competition, fantastic. Now you have an organization that wants to hire you for that skill at
That's what
17, right? So it's a really unique, it's very different than how I remember my high school and college experience. Internships weren't even talked about until junior year of college. It's not the case anymore.
at this point, I think with today's world, you're behind if that's when you're first talking about internships and someone else is already in line to get that job.
Spot on. So we do a lot of prep, not only technically, that is what we're anchored in is our technology education, but it's also how to be a good person, right? How to solve problems, think outside the box, write well, speak well, right? Engage with a customer, engage with an employer.
Yeah.
It's all those soft skills that we spend a lot of time on as well. That as a hiring manager, when we're looking at some new college grads, they're missing some of those skills. So we're trying to incorporate that now. So they move on to higher ed.
That was a kind way to say that.
Some days I can be quite kind. But I think it's important, right? And I know in all of our professional lines of work, we are attempting to train students to reflect the type of employees that we're going to be looking for. Right? So
One thing I'm noticing with, recent grads is that, well, for one, working in person is difficult. Sometimes they can get a bit anxious. They feel much more comfortable on Zoom calls, but also working together is a skill that I do think recent grads are lacking because of COVID, because, for them, sometimes it was a very primary opportunity for them to really learn how to collaborate on group projects and they missed that. But it sounds like with your program, since they are working together often, that's a non-issue.
there's a large team component, whether it's for competition or whether it's for putting training together for your next group that you're going to meet. There has to be a team component.
Navigating personalities.
Yes. And I'm sure we can all spin tales about that group project we had in high school or college or in our professional lives where we're on a team, but somehow we ended up doing all of the work and everyone else is like, yes, we did a great job. Yeah. We? So there's some opportunities to talk about that. And there's some open discussions around, you didn't pull your weight today. And what does that look like? And not in an accusatory way, but in a learning opportunity way.
Yeah.
So that those mistakes aren't made again. And a lot of times and you mentioned it through COVID, people lost how to navigate tough conversations. And that is an art to kind of bring back. And we're trying. Is every day rainbows and unicorns in that lab? I wish, but it's not. And that's part of the human condition. Some days we have good days, some days we have bad days, and that's part of the learning process too. But the one thing I will say, failure is a part of it, and you got to fail for it. So if you put something together and it completely tanked when you turned it up for the first time, okay, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Go back, retool it, bring it back, and if it works this time, you learned.
It's that growth mindset.
It is, and it has to be. So we put on competitions and had the environment melt in the first 5 minutes. They swore, oh, it's ready, we've tested it, and it melted. And the first time you feel that pressure and have all those people looking at you, yep, I won't do that again. And it's on the job training, right? But I'm sure you've been and conducted many interviews. That's one of those questions. Tell me about a time when you failed.
Oh, yeah.
And what did you do? And there's some good lessons to be learned there.
Very cool. Now, a number of your students have certifications, and these are certifications that people pursue as young adults, sometimes even higher. So, of course, it's impressive that they've already attained them. But I think one thing that was really cool to me is that some of your students were teaching others, right, preparing them for their certification exams.
Yes.
Is that normal? Is that done during, hours of your club program?
Yeah, there's a lot of times when people ask me what normal is, and I'm like, I don't know what normal is anymore in the world, but yes, so students that have, specifically in the CompTIA line, so whether it's A+, Net+, Security+, those three specifically, we do have students, once they've obtained those certs, they will then turn around and teach that next generation.
Wow.
So again, that's one of those empowering experiences to not only obtain it, but then to turn around and remembering back to school, I don't think I could have taught my peers.
Oh, yeah. And that takes a lot of confidence, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And there are going to be questions and, things you have to think through additionally. Yeah. You don't really know something until you teach it, I believe that.
Perfect. And that, to be completely honest, when I was at the university, how I actually got into teaching, my mentor at the university walked in. He was the CIO of the department. Walked in, put a book on my desk, and said, "You're going to be teaching this networking class in the fall." And I kind of looked at him.
Wow.
And said, No, I'm not. He goes, "Yep, you're the only one that's qualified to teach it. You're going to teach it." Mm-hmm. I'm 23 years old, never taught.
Yeah.
Avoided every public speaking class because I was terrified of it. That got me over it really quick. Mm-hmm. So I had to learn it. I stayed 2 chapters ahead of the students, and then I got bit by the teaching bug. And I taught that class for the rest of my Stevenson career, and then adapted some of that curriculum from what I'm doing at Blakefield now. But I think about that, and I think about folks in the tech industry tech folks have a reputation of not being people-centric or people-facing. So we're trying to change that stereotype a little bit too. So to empower a student to not only learn something, obtain the credential, but then turn around and help others do it, will just make a more successful member of society later on.
Yeah.
So yes, they are teaching. If there's a cert that they want to teach that we haven't offered before, great. If you go get it and you have some folks that want to take it, absolutely, we'll run it. So it does. Even some of the adult community around the campus is surprised to hear that there are students teaching classes.
No kidding.
And I think in this age, we learned that sometime, or in this time, age really doesn't matter when it comes to content. Just the access to content, the tools available. People are learning stuff at an accelerated rate. And if you have that passion to learn that thing and then share it, I'm not going to stop you and say you're not old enough to teach yet. Mm-hmm. If you've got the cred, you can go teach it. That's been a lot of fun to watch. So when we talk to parents, some parents don't believe me that their kids get up in front of others and talk.
Wow. Because
they don't talk at home. I'm like, well, I might take a video and I might share it with you, right? But it's a lot of fun. And I think it's unique.
I love that, because even while they're teaching, they're still learning, right? They're learning, as you mentioned, how to communicate and how to break things down. They're learning the topic inside and out. That's just next level learning that they're getting exposed to so young.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's fun. So we'll try to keep turning out more people. Right? And they're here helping today, which is another testament to just trying to get more people involved, more people inspired. Obviously, we need more people in the workforce in this particular field. So I feel like we're making a positive difference.
You are. So you mentioned Cyber Patriot, but I know that your team has done a number of, different events. I don't even know where to start, if I'm being honest. Maybe we can start with some early, opportunities that your team or your club has had, and then where you are now.
Sure. So as we grew, other institutions, organizations, and schools wanted to know, hey, how do we start a program like this? How do we get our students involved? How do we get them interested? So steps along the way. So we'll start local, and then we can talk a little bit broader.
A little bit broader.
The world is a much smaller place now. So we started.
I'm laughing because it gets much broader.
So we started in-house. We started in the Baltimore community doing small outreach about social media presentations, digital footprint, digital reputation. So there's a team that'll travel to any school that'll invite us in. We do it as a service project to try and inspire kids to look at tech fields. We talk to small businesses about protecting their business, and we'll do some small security engagements, things like that. And then a group wanted to start their own capture the flag competition. Sure, this is awesome. So now this coming March, so March 14th, will be year 9, so our 9th edition of LBC2. So it's become, at least in my estimate, one of the largest youth-run, in-person, capture the flag competitions on the East Coast.
Loyola Blakefield Cyber Challenge.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. And the best part of the day is you really won't see me. The day is designed and run by a group of teenagers.
Wow.
Right. So for the folks that check in, that register for the event, they will see adults around as mentors, but the folks running it and doing most of the communication are teenagers. And I think that's a key piece for any youth that is maybe on the edge of, I don't know if I want to do that. It seems too techy. I don't know. If they see their peers, it just kind of nullifies that. So that's something we're exceptionally proud of. I'll say that 9th edition is coming up this year. So we've changed it. The content's changed every year. The challenges have changed every year, primarily based on what the student team thinks people are interested in. So that's going to be really cool. So the validation will be there, hopefully. So we've got that going on here.
And can anyone sign up?
That is open to anybody. So lbc2.org is the website. It's in a 4-court gymnasium, so we can hold about 350 people. And it's a really fun day. Breakfast, lunch, completely free day, fun day.
Wow.
And there's 2 divisions, which is the unique part about this CTF. If you've never touched a keyboard before, there's a beginner division, and there's folks that are going to help you through the day. If you're like, I know CTFs, I can do CTFs, there's an advanced division. You get to come in, we'll set you up, rock out, do your thing, and let's see how it goes. So there's a prize pool for both divisions, there's giveaways, it's a really fun day. So even if the tech part wasn't fun, you walked out having fun.
And you got free food.
And there's free food. there is free food, right? That makes everybody happy.
I love that. Come as you are, whatever your level, you're accepted. That's
Exactly.
great.
And that's how we were founded. And that's how we try to involve other people in what we're doing. If you hang out with us for a while and you get really good at what we do and you're extremely passionate and you gather certifications and you want to kind of take that next step, there's some cool next steps that are unique to us. In 2000, so we'll go back to 2017-18 was our first international engagement. And if you would have told me when, Chris Rodriguez was our first student and when we started, if you would have told me that we were going to grow into an international training organization, I honestly would have laughed at you.
wow.
That vision was not there. And it has grown into that naturally. So we ended up doing 2 complete training years in Australia.
Wow.
We worked with their Department of Education. We worked with the Australian Signals Directorate. We trained about 4.5 million students in 2 years and then trained a lot of teachers along the way.
And you were asked to do this. You were invited.
We were. It was one of the most humbling, interesting experience to say, you want us? Really?
Yeah.
And to be honest, it was the students that were the key to all of this. So we were very fortunate. Amazing country. We had a ton of fun. Still have great contacts over there. And it's nice for guys that were on that trip. I mean, we're almost 10 years ago. And they still remember it like it was yesterday. They still talk about it. It formed part of what they decided to do in their professional lives. So I think as educators, sometimes we don't realize where that seed gets planted and then what it grows into. Right? So just like today, here, Cyber Saturday, a young person says, yep, that's what I want to do because they were here. I think that's a powerful experience.
That's an unheard of opportunity for high school students. I mean, some of them, I'm sure it was their first time leaving the country,
Yes.
let alone working in another country. Wow.
Yes. And it's a ton of fun. And that has morphed. So we've done work Australia. After Australia was Singapore. After Singapore, we did some work in Estonia. And we worked with their cyber competition in the Nordic Baltics. And the project that we're currently working on is in Thailand. So there is, the Royal Thai Armed Forces has a capture the flag competition. We've gotten involved in that over the past 2 years. This past July, some of the volunteers that are here today were on that team, ended up winning it, which was a really pleasant surprise, and a lot of folks were interested. So
I'm not surprised here.
It was fun. So it's a collaborative effort between the United States, Thailand, Vietnam, Australia. I think I got everybody that's involved. A very unique opportunity. See how the world works. Compete against folks from other countries.
Mm-hmm.
For us to see how other countries treat and approach strategies for cybersecurity was a very unique perspective.
Does it vary?
It varies.
Greatly?
It varies depending on who is around you, what your adversaries are doing or not doing, and what your posture in the world is. I teach a defensive strategy. There were some folks around that table that have a very offensive outlook on life. And it was good for us to hear it, see it, compete against it, compete with it. So it was a very beneficial experience.
I heard you beat a military team. Is that right?
That is true. That is a true statement. Yeah.
I don't want to shame on the team.
No. Yeah. Well, yeah. But one of the teams, an Australian team, I can say that because we knew each other from the Australian engagement. It was really cool to be in a different country and see somebody you worked with 10 years ago in Australia. It's just the world is a small place. Yeah. But that team came up at the end and asked, our students, can you tell us what you train with? Can we meet in the hotel later and show us a few things? Yeah. That is an empowering experience for a young person to have.
Oh yeah.
And it's fun to talk about, right? Because it's unique and different, and it's nice to know you make a difference. Out of that experience, so we've helped a school district in Thailand start a program similar to ours. So 2 Julys ago, we were there, had an opportunity to meet the students there. Our guys gave a little bit of a pitch on why they should consider cybersecurity. So when we returned this past July, that school brought us back, and it'll give me goosebumps to talk about it. But they had 6 students that had now started their program. Wow. We had an original 6.
Very cool.
So very cool to see another school replicate what we did with a country that desperately needs new job opportunity for all of their youth. So we are going to do something else we've never done before. We are going to pick up LBC2. We are going to fly that over to Thailand in this coming July.
Wow.
And we are going to run that in Thailand for the students of that school district and see how it goes. So we are...
Thailand's beautiful, by the way.
It's a unique country. It really is. I haven't got a chance to see a lot of the outskirts yet, but I'm excited to do that. And the Thai folks are so humble to work with. They've been an amazing partner. And our guys will meet with the students at Sunday night our time when they meet, but they meet every week. They do some training with them to kind of get them prepped. And then we're going to see how this runs when we get there. But it's interesting to motivate youth to do things like this. I was not that ambitious as a high school student. I didn't leave the country until I was 22 years old.
I don't believe this.
It's something I've grown into later in my career. And I honestly, mentorship is where it's at, right? So I will never forget, if it wasn't for my mentor forcing me to teach that class, how different life would be, right? Yeah. If you and I don't push, right, younger folks to look at careers, to consider things they haven't considered, we're not doing our job. So I've learned that, as I've kind of gone through my career.
As an economics major, I can definitely relate to that.
And so mentorship is the key. So for us to be here today, for the mentors that are volunteering here today, that's the key part, right? It's got to keep going. So we're going to do whatever we can to make that happen. We have some other opportunities that might be coming down, the road, where we'll get to participate, train youth in different places. For LBC2, I was shocked when we had 2 teams from Iowa that flew to Baltimore to come participate in this thing.
Really?
I'm like, okay, I think we've got something that people like now. So we'll keep doing it. So I appreciate tax support. NCF is a proud supporter, so can't do without y'all. So it's nice to have partnerships for education.
Absolutely. Well, Steve, I'm going to leave information in the show notes about the upcoming LBC2 if anyone listening wants to participate. But thank you so much for sharing your story, talking more about Loyola. I'm sure everyone that's listening has heard about, this team at some point, but it's great to hear it from the man who helped start it. So
appreciate it. It's great to be here. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thanks for tuning in. We hope this conversation sparked your curiosity and got you excited about the world of cybersecurity. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with fellow cyber enthusiasts. Have a question or a topic you'd love us to explore? Connect with us on CyberChats podcast page and join the conversation. Until next time, stay curious and keep the cyber chats going.